planning your family fun in the ultimate playground at visitcalifornia.com.
It is impossible to imagine SEC baseball without Hoover. So many hardball heroes, forged like diamonds in the Alabama heat. But we have never seen an SEC tournament like this one. 16-team baseball stampede. A bigger bracket means bigger crowd, a bigger party, and much bigger stakes. Old school programs, makers of SEC baseball history, versus new age teams seeking to seize control of its future. Every game feels like a rivalry. Every inning played with desperation, as if it might be your last. Because the road to Omaha doesn't wait for June. It's open now. Welcome to the 2025 SEC Baseball Tournament. A chance to be not merely a champion, but to become legends.
From the rolling hills of central Alabama in the 28th year in Hoover, you're watching the 2025 SEC Baseball Tournament on the SEC Network, presented by Regions Bank. It's Game 3 of day number 1 of this tournament, and we get 15 seed South Carolina against 10-seed Florida in the first of 2 for the night session. Here's a look at the bracket single elimination. Already Missouri and Kentucky have been sent home. We'll get Mississippi State and A&M in the Battle of the Maroons to close the night tonight. And with that, welcome to the broadcast booth. Should be a fun one tonight, should Mother Nature cooperate. Tom Hart alongside Lance Cormier. What a wild season it's been for Kevin O'Sullivan and the Florida Gators. Good start, bad middle, good end so far, and there's no ceiling seemingly for this club.
Right, when you're ranked the top in the country like they were at the beginning, right, you want to be playing your best ball. Again, you don't want to go through what they went through. It was a very tough start. You see number 6 in the country as high in D1 baseball when they started before SEC play. Boy, then it hit rock bottom almost. But when you have a coach like Kevin O'Sullivan, he righted the ship, basically got the guys to believe. Everybody started. The pitching staff started doing, the hitters started going, and then all of a sudden they caught fire.
And with a great week here in Hoover, despite dealing with numerous injuries that could be in position to host, and that would be a big boon to Sully, who took his team to Omaha by going on the road last year to Stillwater and to Clemson. Meanwhile, in the other dugout, the most successful coach in the history of this tournament, Paul Mainieri, owns 6 SEC tournament titles, all with LSU. He knows what it's like for a team to get hot here in Hoover.
Yeah, and he has to get hot, right? His team, that's the preaching he's doing. He needs a team to get hot. You got to go 5 straight. But again, somebody's got to win the ball game. So he's out there playing. His boys are going to play hard for him and see what happens.
Here's a look at the batting order he's put together. They've been bottom third of the league all season, 14th in the league in average and home runs. KJ Scobie, one of the youngsters, doing well. He's riding a 6-game hit streak, and they'll face a Clemson transfer, Billy Barlow, who's been both out of the bullpen and on the mound in his Florida career.
Yeah, he's the guy that gives you that starting experience, though, so he can pitch deep into the ball games. It's going to be a lot of mixing the pitches. I mean, it's fastballs, it's cutters, it's sliders, curveball change, maybe even a little split. So he's got everything. Don't know how the catcher's going to call him. Might have to drop his glove and give a bunch of different pitches.
Blake Jackson leads things off for South Carolina. Takes a first pitch strike. Jeff Head, the veteran, is behind the plate. 0-1 to Jackson, who's hitting just 179. The senior from Coppell, Texas. Both of his home runs have come in league play. Makes his 23rd start today. He's got great speed. Brody Done from behind the plate fires high, and he pulls Brendan Lawson off the bag, and a swinging bunt for Jackson. Just like they drew it up, get the first man on.
Yeah, rocket off the plate, right? And just roll right in front of it, just enough out in front of the plate, and nice hustle down the line. You see Done to throw just a little bit high.
So leadoff man on for the Gamecocks. And Henry Kazmar to the plate for South Carolina. The South Carolina team that needs to win today to finish at 500. Paul Mainieri hasn't had a losing record since 1992. It's when he was still in the Springs as a head coach at Air Force Academy.
That's a lot of years in a row.
That is a lot of success. National championships, trips to Omaha at both Notre Dame and, of course, at LSU. And after a few years off, back in the game in Soda City now. And it's fit in for a strike at 91. Kazmar's a transfer from Ohio State. He's coming off of a really good series against LSU. South Carolina stunned the Tigers in game number 1 of that series. Kazmar finished 4 for 10 with a home run and a couple of triples. Is that a sinker? Just missed?
Yeah, just a little bit of sinker. I thought it was a good pitch. It's right where you want to be, 0-2, though. Just a little bit off the blade, hoping you get a little fishing.
Kazmar hitting .333 in league play. 5 of his 6 home runs have come against SEC pitching as Jackson gets chased back. He's got 6 bags on the year. Brody Donay back behind the plate for Florida. They've had numerous health issues as this one's fouled off down the left side, including Luke Heyman. Kyle Jones is out with a shoulder. Cade Curlin out with a shoulder. Colby Shelton didn't play the last 2 weeks due to a hamate injury. And so they did kick it around a little bit in their last series, and Kevin O'Sullivan is hopeful they can get healthier come regional weekend. And this ball's lifted into right field. That one will drop in front of Ashton Wilson. And the Cox have something going here in the first inning. First 2 men on with nobody out. So with all the injuries Florida has incurred, they've shuffled people around, especially on the infield. In fact, they even had to burn a red shirt last week. Jones, Curlin, Heyman out, and Shelton hopefully back next weekend. That was the word from Kevin O'Sullivan. Shelton's leading the league in both average and doubles. That is a big miss. And time called right before the pitch. We got a pitch clock violation. Called by Jason Bradley, the second base umpire.
You're also talking about just the experience of a Shelton, a Curlin, a Heyman, all those guys. When you get to a place like this in Hoover, guys that have been here and played in this tournament before, you can rely on that experience.
A team that finished its season in Omaha last year. That is not just experience, but big game experience.
And especially knowing season's kind of on the line, every single one, right? Last team to get in type of mentality and work all the way to Omaha.
2-0 pitch is popped up into foul territory. Brendan Lawson gives a look that's off the screen. It's a Florida program last year, Lance, that people are familiar with. They were basically playing in the playoffs with a few weeks to go just to get above 500. Ended up as the 3 seed in Stillwater and then made their way to Omaha. And I kind of feel like with the 1-11 start in league play this year, they've been playing for the postseason lives the last 6 weekends or so.
100% agree. And talking with Sully yesterday, he said, last year he took the approach. He goes, like, I got on him. We wore the guys out. And he's like, he goes, you have a generational player like Jack Caglione. He goes, you can't let him go out like this. And he said, this year it's been a little different approach, man. We really worked on the pitch by pitch, game to game, all those types of things. And basically, like, just buying into what the coaches in the process has been. And he goes, now after they've done that 14-4 run, he goes, these guys would run through a wall if I said to. Which is what you want as a coach.
Yeah, I was talking to him this afternoon. He said, I didn't know how bad it could get, but it was close. Runners on the move, and it's ball 4, and South Carolina's loaded the bases here in the first inning against Billy Barlow. Well, we thought they had. Jeff Head is behind the plate. Nathan Hall had tossed the bat and headed to first.
Yeah, I think he's getting mixed up with possible that first on the pitch timer.
Let's track of the count.
Coach Maneri ran straight out there. So, no. Like, good take, by the way. That's one of those close fastballs.
Yeah.
I don't know how you take that 3-2, especially with many in scoring position.
It was interesting. The pitch clock violation was not called by Jeff Head, the home plate umpire. It was called by Jason Bradley out at second base. He's got a direct line of sight to the pitch clock, which is behind the plate. But I've never seen a home plate umpire lose track of the count because of that. My guess is the way they're all standing around is they're using their communication to double check the count. Should not be that hard, should it?
1, 2, 3, and a 4.
It's one thing for one guy to have it wrong. You would think the other 3 would be able to assist in a timely manner.
Plan your visit today to experience Biltmore at its brightest. Kids visit free all summer.
Money's always costing money. But when you get the Cash App card and direct deposit at least $300 each month, you're good. In this economy, we can waive that ATM fee. And when distractions happen, and all of a sudden, you've overdrafted.
Hey, bro, you're good.
You're good. We can give you free overdraft coverage too. And even when your goals feel a million miles away, your savings are still working for you with 4% interest.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Got more, and then we're gonna try to fit my gold right in. That's nice. That's nice.
Help from centralized replay. It was only up to the guys on the field, right? It's like kids using AI to do their book report now.
Yeah, he's,
All right.
yeah, that's exactly what it was. Just didn't get that first one in, and so Jeff Head's got 3 on his click.
Well, here's where things went sideways, we believe, at least with home plate umpire Jeff Head. It was the pitch clock violation. You see the clock directly in the line of sight of the second base umpire, Jason Bradley, and he gave it a couple of beats too before he signaled to Jeff Head. So then it was a 3-ball count to Hall, who laid off this one.
Still really good take. Don't know how he laid off of that, but you're right. After that first one, that gave 4 balls, and the hitter knew it.
Kevin O'Sullivan on the mound having a long visit with Billy Barlow, who did not fare well in his last outing against Alabama. He allowed 3 runs in 2/3 of an inning. Barlow came in against Bama, struck out the first batter he faced to end the inning, then struck out the next to start a clean inning. After that, he threw 12 straight balls. So, after walking Hall to load the bases, he's behind on the count to Wood at 1-0. Wood has got 6 home runs on the season, one of them a grand slam. And a breaking ball in for a strike, 1-1. What is Barlow's best stuff? Where does he go here with nowhere to go?
Well, you just got to get down in the zone, right? You got to get contact, force contact, get into the play, let your defense do some work.
And here's that chance. Up the middle, Bozer steps on the bag and goes to first. It's a run-scoring ground out, but a double play term by Bobby Bozer to Brandon Larson.
That's exactly what you want. You got to think early on, right? It was a swinging bunt, so nothing really hit hard, and just a little single to right field, and then you put a walk on, right? But go here, get you the ground ball. Bozer does a nice job, athletic play up the middle. And I just love, as a pitcher, you start seeing these guys where they're playing defensively. You think it's a hit when it passes you. You turn around, guys, right where you want them to be.
And now Bo Hollins at the dish, and he looks at a first pitch strike. Hollins is a freshman from just outside of Columbia, Lexington, South Carolina. He had a good series against LSU. Went 3 for 10. Hollins, 3-time All-State performer in high school. He's a freshman, and he slices this one foul. Comes from a baseball family. Dad Dave played for the Phillies, 12 years in the big leagues, including the World Series team in '93. And his brother Bubba spent 5 years in the Marlins organization. Fouls another one off. What are you seeing from Barlow in this at-bat?
Right there, those are just fastballs that are up out over the plate, and you see him slapping it foul, but it's tough to live up in the zone when you're over the plate. You got to be down and on the corners.
2 down and outside the corner. That time 1 and 2 now to Bo Hollins.
This seems like a spot where he needs to make that pitch to get out of this inning, and all of a sudden you look at it, you go, hey, as bad as it looked, it's only 1 run, kind of regroup himself. Hopefully the offense picks him up a little bit.
And gets another ground ball up the middle, gathered by Bozier. And after the bases were loaded with nobody out, Carolina manages just 1 run, but the Gamecocks have the lead in the opening frame. Day 1 from Hoover. The 2025 SEC Baseball Tournament on the SEC Network is presented by Regions Bank, official bank of the SEC. Hungry?
Let's do a milkshake, 2 milkshakes.
Grilled cheese, hamburger, chicken fingers.
Actually, can we get this to go, please?
Charge up to 178 miles in just 15 minutes. How it should be. The Hyundai Ioniq 5.
Lease a Hyundai Ioniq 5 SE for only $239 a month, or get $7,500 retail bonus cash. See your SoCal Hyundai dealer.
From the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power, the Ego zero-turn riding mower with E-Steer technology drives like a car, turns on a dime, and it cuts up to 2.5 acres on a single charge. Find an Ego retailer near you.
Sunday Night Baseball. Every Sunday, all season on ESPN.
Internet, just $35 a month with our 5-year price guarantee.
Well, 2 teams that are familiar with each other just saw each other a few weeks ago, and it was a Florida beatdown, 39-8. The cumulative score. Florida homered 9 times. The other thing, Lance, they get swept on the rug a little bit. Florida was 10 for 11 on the base pass. They picked up their first sweep in Soda City since '96. I think maybe Kevin O'Sullivan wants to try and run again today.
Yeah, well, that's something about the lineup when you talk about the first 12 games when they went 1-11, and you see Ty Evans right here had a really big series there. Also had a nice senior day, a couple hits against Alabama in their last game of the regular season. But that was one of the big stats that was much improved from the first 12 games with stolen bases, from 10 the first 12 to 32 the next 18.
Another face right-hander Brandon Stone, sophomore from the Kansas City suburb of Shawnee Mission, 6'6", 240. He looks big getting off the bus. 2-6 with an ERA just north of 6, and in 59 and a third, he's struck out 43. What do we get from him?
Well, a strike thrower, only 13 walks. You see in those almost 60 innings, right where you want to be. Fastball 89 to 93, and when you talk about mix, it's cutter, slider, curveball, change. So there's 5 pitches, there's multiple fastballs. It's a guy that just, again, going to show you, try to disrupt some timing.
He was at Johnson County Community College in the KC area last year. Set the school record in punch-outs with 113. Hasn't been able to replicate that in the SEC. In fact, he's pitched to an ERA nearing 8 in conference play. Bobby Bozier lead things off. Senior out of Florida, has an OPS over 1,000, a 327 average. But 65 strikeouts on the season, 5th most in the league, and he swings at the first. This is an aggressive Florida team at the plate. They don't wait around for much, do they?
No, both teams are really aggressive, so it was shocking to see South Carolina take a couple pitches, but Florida, 433 when they swing at the first pitch and put it in play.
0-1 to Bozier. He's outside. Is that a cutter from Stone, or is that a breaking ball?
Yeah, he's got the cutter. He mixes them all in. Sometimes the fastball can be pulled just a little bit, and it resembles a cutter, but he's still trying to go four seam down and away.
And now the 1-1. On the ground left side, backhanded pickup by Kazmar. Jump throw too late. And Bozier beats out an infield single to start the game.
Good pitch right here, right on the end of the bat. puts it right perfectly. Casimir does everything he can. Once you saw him have to jump, you know, Bozier's got enough speed to be able to beat that out. But again, that's the tough part of pitching. You make the pitch, hitters get their hit still.
Well, South Carolina has made a change behind the plate. Max Coffer, the A&M transfer, is getting the start back there today. Chuck Girolamo coming out to have a word with his hitter Lawson, before the pitch. But Paul Mainieri seems concerned with the Florida run game, and he should be with Bozier on base. He's got 18 bags in 21 attempts.
Well, you look down the lineup, right? You have a couple more guys with 13 each, and Yost and Wilson. And now that they get Nadeau back in the lineup, he's got 7 out of 10. So you got some guys that can go out there and run, and Florida's going to look to put a little pressure on the Gamecock defense.
Is it odd to have an offensive timeout so early in the game?
I thought that going into it, he must have seen something. So sometimes you might hey, we might have his pitches on him or something on the catcher. But yeah, it is kind of odd to go out there that early.
Brendan Lawson at the plate, and the first pitch low and in to the freshman from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Played at a baseball academy in Florida, P27 Academy. But while he was north of the border, he was the #1 shortstop in his province. Cardinals liked him enough to make him their 19th round pick in last year's Major League Draft. 2-0. He had a 5-hit series against South Carolina, which included one of his 3 SEC home runs. Dribble foul, 2-1.
You know, Tom, when you start just studying Florida's lineup and you start looking at some of these numbers and you're going, okay, man, like that guy's actually having a pretty good year. Things like that, haven't really heard much about him. And then you look at the guys that we just mentioned are not in the lineup.
Right.
That becomes a scary situation for opposing pitchers.
I was joking with Sully today. I said, well, it's time for Hoover, which means it's time for you to find somebody that was buried in the closet that's going to either come out and throw 98 and turn into a 4th-round draft pick or hit the snot out of the ball, one of the two.
I think that's one of the best things about what Hoover is and what it brings when you talk about the end of the year.
Off the knuckles, up the middle, handled by Casimir, and he has plenty of time to turn 2.
Right, so you have games starting early, right? So they played a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, and now they're moving things up to Tuesday and all that. So you're going to have to find guys, arms, bats that you haven't relied on all year. And if that happens, that's when you see teams make a good run. Another great job right there. Defensive placement right up the middle. A couple double plays early in the games.
South Carolina leads the SEC in twin killings this season. That was the 46th of the year for the Gamecocks. And now Ty Evans with a whiff, 0-1. Senior from Auburndale, Florida, 6'2", 215. And as part of this 18-game turnaround for Florida in conference play, Evans has been one of the ringleaders. He's hitting 100 points higher in the last 18 conference games than he is on the season. Flair to the right side, battling the sun, and off of Hollins. And Ty Evans reaches on the 4th error of the season for Bo Hollins. Did he have his shades on when the ball was hit?
No, he did not. So you see, he doesn't have the shades on. He's trying to block it with the glove. And at that last second, boy, he loses it. You see the eyes close. Oh, man, that's tough because you make the pitch out of the inning. I mean, nobody feels worse, right?
Yeah.
So it's just tough for Hollins. You go through that, and, yeah, they're going to say, hey, you probably should have had the shades on.
It's only the right side of the infield. Well, right side of the field, pardon me. We'll have to deal with the setting sun as Brody Donay comes to the plate. How do you deal with that as a pitcher?
I mean, that's the stuff that coaches will stress, right? Next pitch, next play, you have to be able to flush that because there's going to be times where guys are going to make plays for you that on balls that are hit deep and you didn't make the good pitch. Now, he makes the good pitch, you make it on, you just got to go. Hey, it's only a 1-base error. It's not like it cost you 2 or 3, and it's a little different. So just continue mentally focused to go out there and attack the zone.
Ball and a strike now to Donay. 16 home runs in the season for the junior out of Lakeland, Florida. And that fastball misses upstairs. 2-1. Donay had a great series against Alabama. That was last time out for Florida. He went 6 of 12 and homered twice. Swing and a miss, takes it to 2-2. Florida won its series against Bama, took the first and third of that one. Same with the road trip to Austin, taking 2 out of 3 from the regular season champs. And before that, it was that sweep of South Carolina. Very good 6-series run for the Gators, and that one's low and away, full count included. Home series win against Arkansas and a series win at Mississippi State. Missouri got them right. Tigers came to town and they swept through Mizzou, and that kicked off a 6-series win streak. Runner on the move, pitches outside. There's ball 4, and now that error really coming home to roost.
Yeah, when you talk about throwing 6 more pitches and then you throw in that 2-out walk, right? Those how games in big innings, you talk about crooked numbers on the scoreboard, an error, a walk, all with 2 outs, and then you got a guy come up, put a ball in the gap.
Isn't that usually what happens to a team that's had a bad season?
Right. Things like that seem to just mount on you.
So here's Blake Sear. And the first pitch up and in to Sear. He is getting some action in left field now. 250 average with 7 home runs. 2 of them have come in this last 18-game SEC stretch for Florida. And this one's in the seats.
Actually, never mind. That's right. On me. Don't go.
Sear spent 2 seasons playing for Miami. Hurricanes no-showed this morning in the Bull City. They got blown out by the Cal Bears, game 1 of the ACC tournament. Cal was playing at 6 a.m. body clock time.
And started quick. I think in the 4th inning, it was already 9-0, so they didn't waste any time putting it on the Hurricanes.
Played 85 games over 2 years for the Canes, was a freshman All-America in 23. And the pitches continue for Stone.
Right, he was 9 pitches. That would, if the play's made, it's 9-pitch inning, right? So you're going, great, right? Put it right where I want to be, especially in a situation where you're going, hey, it's how far can you go, right? How many innings can you give a guy? Now you got a guy that hasn't been stretched out as far, and now he's throwing an extra 10 pitches already just in the first inning.
Crawford's going to go all the way out to the mound and chat with Stone here. Having a hard time sticking in the zone. 8 of his 19 pitches have missed. What can a catcher say in this situation to kind of keep you focused or keep your spirits up?
A lot of times it's just, trying to calm him down, right? A catcher's not going to go out there unless he sees, hey, it's, the front shoulder's severely flying open. It's more or less a catcher going out there, just giving you a little confidence, going, hey, let's compete, get us out of here. Let us get those sticks going for you.
Ball and 2 strikes to Sear with 2 on. And have now been more pitches thrown by Stone after the error than prior to. Evans a runner at second. Brody Donay is a runner at first. Blake Sear at the plate for Florida. And the 2-2. And a changed arm angles to fit that one in to finish off the Gators in the first. Double play was a big one. The error could have been, but in the end, Gators find nothing and they strand 2. 1-0 Carolina.
I'll show you the ropes, kid. Show you the ropes. There it is. I'll show you the ropes.
All the parts you need, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love.
I'll show you the ropes, kid. Show you the ropes.
Boom, baby.
Get it.
There it is.
All the parts you need at prices you love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love.
STIHL battery. Don't miss STIHL deals. Now is the best time to save big on over 40 hardworking STIHL tools. Hurry into your local STIHL dealer or shop online.
I'll show you the ropes, kid. Show you the ropes.
Boom, baby.
I'll show you the ropes.
All the tires you need at prices you love. eBay. Things people love.
Day number 1 from the SEC Tournament 2025, and South Carolina with a 1-0 lead as we move to the second inning. 28-28 overall, just 6-24 in league play in the first season under Paul Mainieri. They got off to a great start, 9-0. But the Cox with just one series win. That came against Ole Miss.
Well, yeah, when you look at the non-conference too, 22-4, they got it done non-con. It's just been more once the SEC play. And again, that's the toughest thing, right? The coaches talk about how that 10-week gauntlet can do, and it can beat you down. And if you let it happen and, you know, you don't have the guys that can stop it, especially on the pitching staff, it can be a long year.
Only one midweek loss for South Carolina. This is freshman KJ Scobie. Coming off of a 4-for-11 series with a home run and a couple doubles against LSU. And he skies this one left side. Donay tosses the helmet, gets called off at third by Stripling, and there's one down. Good execution. I'm not sure either Stripling or Donay saw it when it came off the bat.
Well, like you were talking, right, before the game, hey, this has some of the biggest foul territory.
Yeah.
And it really does in that part of it. You probably, in all of the league, and so in front of the dugouts and behind home plate. And so those are balls that you routinely think are in the stands, and then you realize, oh, that's going to come back. And so nice job Stripling not giving up on it.
Here's former Gator Jordan Carrion to the plate. He's a senior from Miami. He's come all the way up 95, well, down and then back up, and he slices this one foul. Started at Florida. He was a two-way guy when he first got to Florida. Made 7 appearances out of the bullpen. There's a souvenir. And hit his first home run against the top 5 Ole Miss team. Chops it to third. Stripling. 2 down.
It's amazing just getting out of that first inning for Billy Barlow, right? So much was there. You make the pitch, you get the double play, you minimize the damage to only run one run, sits in the dugout, gathers himself, and now he's attacking the strike zone and having a much better second inning.
I got good news for Barlow, though. First time since 2018, with 2 games already done, that the team to score first has lost each of the first 2 games here in Hoover.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah. We're gonna give up one because that's the trend. Good win for Oklahoma in game number 2, knocking off Kentucky Wildcats. Here's Evan Stone. Laid off of it, 1-1. Stone is from just outside of Columbia. Irmo, I-R-M-O is how cool cheer goes, but he's from Dutch Fork. Blown away 2-1. Hitless against LSU, 0 for 9 with 3 strikeouts, trying to get back on track. Evan was a great high school football player, but football injuries cost him a couple of high school baseball seasons. Both sophomore and junior year at Dutch Fork, he was unable to play on the diamond. And this one to third. Stripling is going to tie a record. Handles all 3. 1-0 South Carolina as we head to the home half of the second. Yost Wilson and Stripling due up for the Gators.
They're seeking those who aren't done making medicine until
10 out of 10 friends say you have to go to that wing place, and that pizza shop, and that noodle spot, which you have time for 0 out of 10 nights. Fortunately, DoorDash knows all your neighborhood hotspots, so you can always get the best of what's around. We wish you the best of luck with that. Shake up your dinner routine. Order with DoorDash.
blind spot that's never out of sight. How it should be. The Hyundai Tucson.
Lease a Hyundai Tucson for only $259 a month, or get 3.99% APR for 72 months. See your SoCal Hyundai dealer.
I told the team at the end, you know, you probably need to take some time and reflect back on what just happened. I mean, just to be 1-11 and end up at 15 wins in the league, no one's ever done that, you know, since the league expanded since '92. So, but obviously our job is not finished. At least we put ourselves in at least discussion, you know, to host. So we'll see what happens, you know. But can't say enough about this group and their resiliency.
It's a kinder, gentler Kevin O'Sullivan, especially with the 1-11 start. I asked him, I said, how did you handle it and internalize it as Hayden Yost leads off the inning? And he said, quite frankly, I thought we were going to be 1-15 if we weren't careful. It was a little bit of desperation, but I knew we had enough talent. And it was just a matter of, to what you referenced earlier, just encouraging these guys to come out and play. And Yost pops it up, finding the sun is Hollins. He's got his sunglasses on. He's called off by the third baseman, and now second baseman Carrion takes it. He just kind of walked right in to take care of that.
I think they all called it. I think everybody called it. Carrion takes it. But that just shows you what kind of coach Kevin O'Sullivan is. And you know, when you talk about some of the greatest coaches in college baseball, and he's up in the top of the list, is because he knew the makeup of the team. Last year, right, he said, look, hey, I had to jump him because it was like, I can't let this guy, generational player, go out like this. And so it had to be just, look, you know, sometimes you got to coddle certain guys, and knowing your team exactly how he did is everything you want from a coach, because you got to know when to jump some guys. You got to know when to just be that just calming presence. And he said the calming presence was everything they needed this year, and they've continued to play.
Ashton Wilson at the plate. He's a great example in front of his teammates as to what can happen when you turn it on. He flipped the switch in the postseason last year. Helped carry him to Omaha. By the way, you mentioned Jack Caglione, that generational talent. He just got called up in AAA with the Royals. So he's
playing in Omaha.
Yeah, indeed. Finished the regular season a single game above 500. And Wilson got it going in Stillwater. This guy didn't have his first hit until May 11th. First start May 16th. And his first home run came in that regional. Deep to right. Mark will hold it as Evan Stone puts it away.
We mentioned the recruiting and all the things that Florida does in the program, right? They bring in top-tier talent. And that's why when all of a sudden that 1-11 start happened, you're going, how could this happen, right? They're so talented, and you know they're going to pull out of it, right? So even if they just kind of not turn around as much as they did, and they just get into the postseason, you're going, no team wants to see them come. Now they kept winning. Now they even have a chance to host. They get a couple wins here. I think they're going to be in that hosting conversation. But yeah, nobody wants to play the Florida Gators just with the talent they have.
Stripling jumps on the first and punches a 2-out single into center field. And I think that's a great example that Stillwater Regional, they were the 3 seed, but they were arguably the most talented team in that region.
Right. You talk about Tom. Sets a record in the field with the 3 plays. It comes up to the next inning, laces a single up the middle. Just feeling it.
So the inning extended for Justin Nadeau. Stripling only has 1 stolen base on the year. Nadeau, junior from St. John's, played 2 years as a Jacksonville Dolphin.
What's their chant?
It's not family friendly. I can't repeat it.
Right.
Yeah. Dolphins are mean. 3 home runs and 21 driven in for Nadeau. He's playing, I guess, with a press-on nail. He had his fingernail ripped away from one of his fingers in the previous series. And I asked how it was fixed. He said, well, we just took the fingernail and super glued it back on. Yeah. So you get a manicure with that. You get to pick your finish. Like, we're going French tips, or right. What's hot right now? I don't even know.
I like the French tip look, though.
Sure.
Yeah, he said he looked at Sully. He was like, it's bleeding. He goes, I see that. Don't make me look at it even more. It's nasty.
You get a penny with the Manny in that situation?
No, I think he walked. I think that's just you take the top, you get that one done, and you don't want kind of feel it out a little bit, and you're looking around, and then maybe come back in a little bit later.
We'll try to tough this one out. 3 home runs on the season for the junior, and that one ran inside on him. Pardon me, the junior out of St. John's, Florida. He's also a football player in high school. Summa cum laude, and 49 of 52 on the base paths at Bartram Trail High School. Did you see how the nail got ripped off? It was on a double play, but I couldn't find it.
I think he said it just bounced up, and you usually protect, right? You have your glove hand, and then you got that other hand to go get the ball right as he's trying to go that double play quick. Just bounced up, busted him right on that nail.
Breaking ball low and in. Here's ball 4 to Nato, and Gators have 2 on with 2 out. And back to the top of the order. And Bobby Bozer. Remember, Brennan Stone would have been out of the first inning on just 9 pitches before it dropped Papa. Ended up throwing 21 in the first, and now he's at 33 and not yet out of the second. Breaking ball low and away to Bozu, who got up to a great start earlier this season. Against Stetson, he had a 3 home run game, the first since Caglione in February of 23 for a Gator. And he compared him, at least from a spot in the lineup, to Wyatt Langford. Kevin O'Sullivan did. He said he's got great makeup. I think he's tough as nails. We let off Wyatt in the past, and he wasn't your traditional guy, but even though he's got a lot of strikeouts, his on base is pretty good. And he sends this one into center field. Nathan Hall drifting back, track, wall, it is gone! 3-run home run, Bobby Bozer. And the Gators jump in front. This is a big old ballpark, and he took him to straightaway center.
Yeah, that's what you talk about. Not a leadoff hitter, right? But he's got the juice. 16th home run of the season, RBI. 59, 60, 61. Bobby Bozer just blast this ball. You're right, big part of the ballpark. 405 out there, dead center. And you see Mr. Hall just run out of room right there. Almost gives a good effort, but just enough. We got the Gators up 3-0. 3-1, my bad.
That's all right. And a breaking ball to greet Brendan Larson, who bounced into a double play his last time up. Up and in with the four-seamer, 1-1.
That's been Stone's MO so far this game, right? 2 very, very quick outs, and then had a hard time getting that last out. I know the one was the error, then another walk, but then this inning, the single, the walk, and the blast.
Two balls and a strike. Bozer's really turned it up, part of this 18-game SEC run for Florida. He's bumped his average by nearly 50 points. This one's mile high, won't barely leave the infield. Kazmar has it backtracking. Bobby Bozer going yard.
Yeah, Bobby Bo, the 2-out jack, right? Games are won and lost with 2 outs, scoring those runs. Little slider up in the zone. Not today.
The best new cars. Honda. Make the best pre-owned cars. Honda certified pre-owned vehicles. Get
Get the best value with Honda certified pre-owned vehicles. Get a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty and first-year oil changes on us. Plus, every certified pre-owned Honda goes through a 182-point inspection and is reconditioned like new by factory-trained technicians with genuine parts. Search your local Honda dealer today.
Spot that's never out of sight. How it should be. The Hyundai Tucson.
Lease a Hyundai Tucson for only $259 a month or get 3.99% APR for 72 months. See your SoCal Hyundai dealer.
Seeking the meticulous, uncompromising perfectionists. Seeking those who aren't done making medicine until every dose is just right. For everyone who needs it.
Well, we are 2 games in the books. Just LeBron drove in a run and was walked 3 times, one of the top prospects for next year's draft, helping Alabama to the win in game number 1 against Missouri. And Jason Walker with a 2-run home run. The Sooners, in their first ever SEC tournament, advanced to the second round of this single elimination tournament with a win over Kentucky. Here's Max Coffer. Here's a look at the bracket. We've got Mississippi State and A&M to follow. And the winner of this one gets Ole Miss tomorrow. The winner of the nightcap gets Auburn. If you look big picture of this tournament, the teams who have the most on the line, one of them will be A&M later tonight. And I think the other one that bears mentioning is Kentucky. A chance to solidify their tournament resume, but they failed to get it done against Oklahoma. And Nick Mingione's team's got a really good-looking resume in the best league in college baseball.
Yeah, midway kind of through the year, they were struggling just a little bit. As you see a puncher right there, a nice slider for Barlow. I thought they were going to be a team that when you looked into the season, they'd be ranked. But it ended up not getting done, especially having that tough weekend against Oklahoma where Oklahoma did sweep them. Kentucky swept Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that would be something where they're going to be a lot higher up, but the struggles have happened. Again, that's just the league, right? You have a good weekend, you have a bad weekend the next weekend, and can't string together consistency.
Went on the road, got a series win against Tennessee. They got a win against Louisville in the non-conference. 1 ball and 1 strike to Blake Jackson. We will find out on Selection Monday.
Your argument, when you look at the 12-13 game that they just played, is Oklahoma's clearly in, and you're going, we're 1 game behind them, and we swept them.
Just under the glove of Nato and into right field. And Blake Jackson is 2 for 2. Outside of Kentucky, who else do you think has got the most on the line this week?
Well, I think you're talking about guys like Florida and Alabama possibly hosting. Nice effort right here, but just under the glove again. I love the hustle by Jackson, trying to put a little pressure on the defense. You see that fingernail taped up as he slides head first. But I think it's Florida and Alabama, like trying to get into that hosting conversation, because you know how important it is to be able to play those early games at home.
Breaking ball to Henry Kazmar is now riding a 7-game hit streak. Six home runs, and he's driven in 28.
Right, 13 wins for Kentucky, right? 13 regular season wins. Last year, that was that magic number.
Yeah.
So you're hopeful that, right, history repeats itself and you get in that number, because that's right. That's where Florida was. They got in and they make a run, right? That's what you're hoping for.
13 regular season SEC wins and a top 30 RPI has been automatic. It remains to be seen how the committee handles everything this year. Expanded conferences, not just the SEC, but elsewhere. Now a single elimination tournament. Day one has been single elimination for the last handful of years, so format not really impacting Kentucky. They sit coming in with an RPI of 36, a top 10 strength of schedule. An 8 quad one wins. Runner on the move, pitches inside, and that's ball 4. 2 on with 2 out for South Carolina as Kasbar has reached base each time he's come to the plate tonight. And it continues the inning for Nathan Hall. Already action in the Gators pen. Lane Rowland getting loose. Barlow's sitting at 44 pitches. His season high is 64. He was great in a start against Texas. 6 strikeouts against a walk. That was part of a series win for Florida. Ruddy Done having a word with him.
I think this is one of those situations where you're trying to get the guy loose because you don't want to lose that momentum of scoring the 3 runs, taking the lead, and giving it right back up.
By the way, Done just towering over Barley, 6'5". Rare to see a catcher that tall. Jason Worth, when he came up with the Orioles, was behind the plate for a while. He was 6'6", I believe.
Rare for you, but like when you're a 5'11", 6-foot pitcher like me, it was not very rare. Most of the catchers were bigger than me.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
No, Ben Davis, remember that name?
Yeah.
Seattle, like 6'5", 6'6". I had him in Baltimore as well. And yeah, he'd walk out and you're like, oh gosh.
One knee for Done and handles that one. Did you throw in a guy like Ben Davis? Did you find that he was limited in what he could get to?
I like the big catchers. I like guys like that because it felt like the body was a bigger target, so I could focus in more on that as well. No, I really like those guys. I mean, like B-Mac, Brian McCann in Atlanta, he's what, 6'2"-ish, something like that. Yeah. You know, wasn't a small guy.
Well, Luke Heyman out with a broken forearm, got hit by a pitch game 1 of the Alabama series. He's 6'4". I mean, those are a couple of guys that I just thought Golden might be like, hey, come out and play hoops with us, guys. I know we got a national title, but we could always use the bodies.
I just felt like the big body guys suck up the plate. And so basically if they're off the plate and you hit the plate, right, then all of a sudden the umpire sees, well, his body's still on the plate. How, you know, so it's got to be closer to a strike. So I always felt like you got the benefit of the doubt.
Heyman started every game last year. 2 on for Hall, who was walked last time up. And Barlow brings one in on his hands, full count. The lefty Voit is the next guy up for South Carolina. Runners on the move, and this one's popped up foul territory. Right side for Lawson and into row 4. I mentioned 64 pitches for Barlow against Texas 2 outings ago. That was over 4 innings of work. He threw 71 in the non-conference against Florida Atlantic back in the first week of March. That was also his longest outing by innings when he went 5 1/3. Done loses the mask around the logo and he makes the catch. 2 down. Stick with Barlow here?
Yeah, I think you mentioned just the pitches. I think it's batter for batter right now. And so I think he kind of feels that when you saw Done go out there talking that it's, hey, you know, another guy gets on, this is it. So you're pitching to stay out in the game. You got to get outs.
Chase Woida hit into a double play his first time up. And he sends this one into foul territory. Stripling chases. They're getting their running in, aren't they?
They are. You mentioned the foul territory. As a pitcher, that's beauty, right? You outfielders, infielders having to run a lot more, but man, you get opportunities to get and steal outs with balls that would normally be in the stands, 1 or 2 rows deep now or in play, and you get those easy outs, and that can get you out of a big inning. A lot like the Oakland Coliseum. They have so much foul territory there. At one point, Oakland had the guys, right? You have a bunch of young pitchers. They'd come up, they'd put up amazing numbers, and then they'd trade them away, and maybe not quite as good. And you're like, well, how did that happen? Well, like they steal outs because there's so much foul territory.
Yeah, they get an extra 4 outs a game. Oldham 1 and 2.
First real good changeup we've seen from Barlow. Something that, when he's feeling good and he's getting ahead and he's working his pitches, he'll go to that. Wouldn't be surprised if he tries to do that off the plate again.
Tap to the left side. Picked up on the short hop by Stripling. What a play by the Florida third baseman in South Carolina. Strands a pair in the third. No runs on a hit, 2 left on. It's a 3-1 Florida lead. When we return, we'll chat with the winningest head coach in the history of this tournament.
Seeking those who are done making medicine until every dose is just right. For everyone who needs it.
The full-size Honda Accord sedan is the most awarded vehicle in Car and Driver's 10 Best history. Save now. Drive an Accord for just $239 a month. In stock and just $239 a month. Get safety, performance, comfort, and fun with Accord. A Car and Driver 10 Best a record 39 times. Search your local Honda dealer today.
Spot that's never out of sight. How it should be. The Hyundai Tucson.
Lease a Hyundai Tucson for only $259 a month, or get 3.99% APR for 72 months. See your SoCal Hyundai dealer.
Paul Mainieri is coaching in his 13th SEC tournament. All he's done is won half of the tournaments that he's been in. 2009 might have been the most impressive second year at LSU. They put on the gold. They went on a 20-game regular season win streak, took them all the way to Omaha, and he's kind enough to put on a headset and join us now. Tom Hart with Lance Cormier. Paul, thanks for being with us. Really appreciate it. What has been the secret?
Renting a car for your next family road trip on the Turo app means extra fun, extra friends, and extra love. For all of life's extras, rent on the Turo app.
Can you identify which app is a trap?
I need your birthday for horoscopes.
Me too, for free cappuccinos. Me 3, for fun related business.
You may not be able to tell which app is a trap, but Google Play can. Download apps, not traps.
He's throwing the ball good. He just got to finish off these innings.
Paul, thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
Okay, guys.
As head coach Paul Mainieri, first season at South Carolina. 13th tournament, 12 with LSU, and he won 6 of them. I mean, that is insane.
And we go to him, and he's got a big smile on his face, because that's probably that's what you're thinking when you break it down like that, and you're going to, oh, wow, he's won half. All right, you're right. I've won half the time I've been here. I've gone home a champion.
Ty Evans at the plate for Florida. And he goes down on strikes. That is the second strikeout for Brandon Stone. I think the approach that he had at LSU, because this tournament over the years meant something to that fan base. It then meant something to the players. It meant something to all of the head coaches in the program. And that responsibility, it turns into a blessing because you don't really have to motivate those dudes. They showed up here thinking, if you wish to say it that way, thinking it's important, so therefore it's important.
Well, I mean, the LSU name, right? The jersey, especially when it came to the gold jersey, because you can go all the way back to 1996 and the Warren Morris years. When they put that gold jersey on, it was like, uh-oh, get out of the way. They're about to roll through.
Donay sends this one deep to right field. Stone all the way to the fence. It is well gone. Home run number 17 for Brody Donay, and the Gators have a 4-1 lead. I suppose we shouldn't be surprised where that ball went when it went over the fence.
Yeah, how about that, Tom? 17th home run, but look, 8 opposite field home runs leading the SEC. You want to talk about a guy with power to all fields. I mean, this is an intimidating guy to play. Just lets that ball travel, shoots it out to right field. Beautiful extension on the swing. That's the make of a power hitter.
And this ball is launched to left by Sear, and it turns around Jackson, who plays it off a hop. Home run and a double, and 2 well-hit balls for the Gators. Back to back. Fifth home run in his last 23 at-bats.
Safe to say he's seeing beach balls coming up at him.
And they will scramble some bogeys out to the South Carolina pen before Stone can throw the next pitch to Hayden Yost.
It's got to feel good as a hitter to know you have that much juice the other way, right? Because you can be a little bit more patient. You can let that ball travel. A lot of times guys feel like they have to go out, get the ball, pull it to hit it over the fence. But Donay trusts the power, trust everything in his swing, and he lets that ball travel as good as anybody.
Yost has a pop-up to his name so far. I thought you were going to say it must feel good if you're the pitcher. You see 5 dudes in your line of sight run out to the pen.
You're like, could y'all not gone out in between innings instead of having to scramble right there? I'm watching you go out there, and then the catcher comes out there to talk. You know what's going on, right? You know this is the stall tactic.
You're not going to hurt my feelings, but let's not be so obvious about it. Mangarino getting loose. Well, nobody had a better week than Yost did against South Carolina in that series where the Gators put a good whipping on them. Yost was named SEC Player of the Week. He went 5 for 10 with 2 home runs. He drove in 8. He doubled his career home run total in one series. And you see, he only has 3 home runs on the year. And this ball's lasered into the right field corner. That gets down for a knock for Yost. He moves to second. Sear scoring from second. They trade places, and Florida now leads 5-1.
Tom, here now you're seeing Stone just trying to live up in the zone, and the stuff is just not good enough right now to be able to beat these Gators hitters up in the zone over the plate.
And when you say not good enough, meaning from a velocity
standpoint? Correct, right. I mean, if you're up, you need to be a little bit above the top of the zone. He's just trying to pitch in the zone to get the strikes, and you're right, you're starting to want to see guys, you know, in the mid to upper 90s with if you're going to pitch in the zone up. I've seen guys throw, you know, with 90 to 92, you know, out of the zone, and you can get swing and misses. But when you're trying to throw for strikes and get ahead of hitters, it's going to be tough.
Ashton Wilson 0 for 1 with a fly out to right field. Big cut, 0-2. Wilson did not have a good series against Bama, went 2 for 12. Started his college career at Charleston Southern, and he fouls this one off. Kind of labored through his first season in Charleston. Had an injured shoulder, only hit .250. And during that summer was going to go play junior college ball when he got a phone call from Chuck Girolamo that the Gators were interested, swing and a miss. And he goes down swinging. He was playing pickleball at the time. Third strikeout for Stone. Are you allowed to take a call in the kitchen? I'm not familiar with all of
right. You have to step back out, make sure you don't go in, but right after you get on the phone, you can then go in the kitchen and tell everybody that you're going to Florida.
Yeah, taking a phone call in the kitchen, everybody, and I'm going to be a Gator.
I don't think that was a hard conversation. Hey, we want you to come to Florida. Yes, sir.
Junior college, Florida. Junior college, okay. Worked pretty well for the Gators, too. Here's Landon Stripling. See, A&M in the nightcap tonight against Mississippi State. You might remember Landon's uncle, Ross Stripling, played at Texas A&M before going on to a long big league career. Was an all-star with the Dodgers in 2018. Also played for Blue Jays, Giants, and A's. Stripling at the plate has a single and a run scored. Sophomore from Lawrenceville, Georgia, came to Florida from Texas Tech. And we got some communication with the South Carolina dugout. And a pitch comm issue, it seems like, for Brandon Stone, which, if they need it, will allow even more time for anybody in the pen to get more.
Never seen the pitcher stall himself.
I know.
Is that guy not ready yet?
Yeah. Guys. Hey. Moreno's been throwing for a while now. We'll get another righty until Bozer, who homered in the second. Stripling in the 8-hole, and then Nato in the 9-hole, both from the left side. Popped up right side. Hollins hauled off, and Carrion takes care of it. But not before Florida pushes 2 more across. 3 extra base hits in the third inning. 2 of them come home to score. Third of the way through this one, and Brody left his mark on the game. Another Apo Taco for Donay.
Third row that feels like first class. How it should be. The Hyundai Palisade.
Lease a Hyundai Palisade for only $389 a month, or get 3.99% APR for 60 months. See your SoCal Hyundai dealer.
The full-size Honda Accord sedan is the most awarded vehicle in Car and Driver's 10 Best history. Save now. Drive an Accord for just $239 a month. In stock and just $239 a month. Get safety, performance, comfort, and fun with Accord. A Car and Driver 10 Best a record 39 times. Search your local Honda dealer today.
Today she starts with a drive, but the real work came before. Inspired by a coach who recognized her potential. Morgan Stanley proudly supports First Team, driving progress for the next generation.
Sunday Night Baseball. Every Sunday, all season on ESPN.
Glad we learned something.
'25 SEC Baseball Tournament on the SEC Network is presented by Regions Bank. Tom Hart, Lance Cormier, our fantastic crew, be here all week and just getting started. Single elimination format all the way through this year. Florida with a 5-1 lead. Bo Hollins leading it off for South Carolina. Introduce 4 more teams to the field tomorrow, and then 4 more by the end of the week. Top 4 get double byes. We'll see 2 of them Thursday and 2 of them Friday. Hollins 0 for 1 with a ground out to short. I have a South Carolina buddy who calls everybody Bo. You know, I think all of us have that one guy, right? No matter the state. Hey, Bo. Hey, Bo. How we doing, Bo? He can never get this one wrong.
And he's always right. And when he said, "How you doing, Bo?" in that first inning, when that ball hit him, Bo said, didn't like that.
Did not like it at all. Dad Dave, before going on to the big leagues, played at South Carolina back in the mid-'80s. June Raines was the coach then. They weren't in the SEC, and he was all Metro Conference, 12 years in the big leagues. Game 6 of the NLCS in 90. Game-winning home run.
What you got on those shades? Not Bo's, the dad's.
Yeah.
The old flip ones.
Well, I bet Bo wishes he would have had them. That's what I got on him.
Oh. Yeah, those were the best. You don't see the wristband. I mean, this is how I grew up, right? This is what you grew up with. The Franklin glove under.
If drip existed as a word back
he was dripped, especially with the flip glasses, little mullet in the back.
Nato takes care of Bo Hollins. 1 down. Did you have a mullet?
No, heck no.
Why not?
I don't know. I like the haircut short.
Your truck was lifted.
I did have a lifted truck.
Yeah, you had the big wheels.
Big wheels. That was a good story.
We're pushing into that direction, yet you just wouldn't pull the trigger and let it go.
Clean cut hair.
There's KJ Scobie.
Got rid of the truck though, so you know.
Well, yeah, you start having kids. You can't put a car seat in the bed of the truck. Swing and a miss for Scobie, who popped up to third his first time up.
We got the big truck because of the kids. More protection. You get a wreck in that thing, you're good.
Nothing in 2 now to Scobie. Reaches for that one, sends it foul. He's 1 for 11 against Florida this season with 5 strikeouts. But he's been walked a couple of times. He was a 2-time All-State player in Lakeland at McKeel Academy of Technology. As part of a stretch run, we had 12 varsity letters. Of course, baseball, but also basketball and golf. That one just barely missed. He was All-State in all 3 sports, baseball and golf. Barlow delivers and misses low. Shadows starting to take over the infield. Barlow pitching from the sunlight on top of the mound. And that one runs inside on Scobie. A thing or not a thing as a pitcher?
Shadows?
Yeah.
I don't think, not a thing for the pitcher, more of a thing for the hitter, right? Because the ball comes from the sun, then it goes to the darkness of the shadows. Where they're at now, I don't think it's a thing.
And he catches Scobie looking.
You know, Barlow thought he had strike 2 pitch. He tried to walk it off and then lost a little concentration, goes 3-2, and then makes the pitch right there to finish off the punch out.
Donay may have helped him a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you need that help deliver with your catcher. And a lot of times these catchers now make almost every pitch look like a strike.
Jordan Carrion tips the first pitch into Donay's mitt.
You're talking about the shadows, though. Usually you'll see the shadows kind of halfway. That's when it really starts affecting the hitter. And that's a good look right there. From behind the plate, you see what the hitter is looking at, right? You see nothing but sun, and then that ball just comes in. So it's tough to pick up spin just naturally, but much less when you have to deal with those shadows.
And Carrion sends this one foul. Jordan Carrion went to American Heritage High School in South Florida. He committed to the Gators ahead of his freshman baseball season. And he lobs this one to left field. That gets down for a knock. 2-out single for Carrion. Staying in Gainesville's brief before he ended up on Mike Martin Jr.'s team at Florida State. And now South Carolina.
They've obviously changed that rule where these kids can't commit that early. And you're seeing a lot of guys trying to commit it before their freshman year, not even, they still go with bag lunches to school trying to decide where they want to go to college.
What's wrong with a bag lunch?
No, nothing wrong with a bag lunch.
Uncrustables fit in there. You can fit like 6 Uncrustables in one of those brown bags.
Well, I'm about to fit a couple of Uncrustables in between games.
1-0 the count. And now 2-0. Stone grounded out to third in the second inning. That was quick. Barlow. And they're throwing in the pen behind the right field wall. Up and in, 3-0.
Roland's been up in the second, the third, the fourth. This is where you got to be able to manage pitches in the bullpen, right? Because that's something you don't think about. Just keep throwing. You don't know. Like all of a sudden, he's 62 pitches in the bullpen, and he's not fresh when he walks on the mound.
What kind of communication is he getting in terms of where we might go to you?
Well, you have the dugout. You're like, hey, he's got next guy, right? Or if a guy gets on, he's on. You're in, and that's where you need the bullpen coach to be able to stand in front of you and go, hey, like, you're ready. I watched you. You know you're ready. We don't need to keep throwing.
And that'll be it after a 4-pitch walk to Evan Stone. Second walk of the game from Billy Barlow. And he'll exit after 78 pitches. Then he exits with a 1 Florida lead. Pitching of the game for the Gators, and we'll tell you all about Blaine Rowland when we return.
I'll show you the ropes, kid. Show you the ropes.
Boom, baby.
I'll show you the ropes.
All the tires you need at prices you love. eBay. Things people love.
I'll show you the ropes, kid. Show you the ropes.
Get it.
There it is.
All the parts you need at prices you love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
The all-new Whoop is here. Now more advanced than ever. Train smarter, sleep deeper, recover faster. Extend your healthy years. Understand your cycle phases. Now 7% smaller with 14 plus days of battery life. So your data never stops, and neither do you. Power your best performance with memberships made for every goal. Join Whoop today.
I'll show you the ropes, kid. Show you the ropes.
Boom, baby.
I'll show you the ropes.
All the tires you need at prices you love. eBay. Things people love.
Billy Barlow turned in 3 2/3 innings. A good bounce back for him at last time out. And he leaves with 2 men on, but 3 walks, and he hands it off to Blaine Rowland. Rowland is from Plant City, Florida, son of Kelly Rowland. He's making just his 6th appearance on the season.
A lot of off-speed pitches, especially to left-handed hitters. Up to 91 with the fastball, mixes the slider, the changeup, split-finger change. It kind of plays in the same action. But you can see Barlow, though, a little frustrated after getting 2 quick outs and not being able to finish off this 4th inning.
Max Coffer bangs it up the middle off the leather. Bozer reacts and made the play. Just your typical 1-6-3 inning ender. It was like destiny. And Childs made the play. Finish it off.
You were good. You're right. Little 1-6. Bozer can do it with the bat, could also do it with the glove.
When businesses thrive, so do our communities.
My name is Oscar Zavaleta, principal. I knew that I wanted to be the person that made the decisions. Without Bank of America, the growth of our company would have been difficult. The way I look at it is Bank of America is one of my partners.
Unlock new possibilities for your business and what would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Contact one of our local business specialists at bankofamerica.com/local business.
A third row that feels like first, how it should. The Hyundai Palisade.
Lease a Hyundai Palisade for only $389 a month, or get 3.99% APR for 60 months. See your
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Trying to figure out what is this roller coaster of Florida baseball this season, right? The non-conference, obviously a dip once conference play started. Everybody wants to know how you got it turned around.
I don't know. We just kept believing and just kind of preached the same thing over and over that we're gonna get this thing turned around. And we lost 11 of our first 12. So why can't we win the next 11 of our next 12? So it's just the guys hung in there. Obviously, we've had some key injuries, but getting some guys healthy here towards the end. So we'll see.
Well, the lineup has been huge, right? In that 18 game, you went from 244 to 296. You got guys like Bobby Bozer and Brody Donay just continue to do it. What have they meant so far?
Yeah, they've been an awful lot. I mean, everybody's had to pick up their game, so to speak. I mean, you can talk about those 2 guys. Justin Nadeau, who's back in the lineup today, has done a great job turning over the lineup again over and over this year. So it's been a combination of guys, and obviously last Saturday against Alabama, we had 2 seniors, Ty Evans and Bobby Bozer go, hit home runs, and Brody Donay hit one as well. So we've got a lot of contributions from everybody up and down the lineup.
Hey, Sully, before we let you go, and Nadeau drives this one to center field, has space. I'm just curious, like, when these are still kids, right? And so when things aren't going well, the body language is natural. His shoulders droop, or they get down in the dumps a little bit. What have you seen the difference of the last? last 6 SEC series with these guys in terms of how they carry themselves?
Well, I mean, we just wouldn't allow them to believe otherwise. I mean, that's the bottom line, and it's not just from me; it's from our whole staff. I mean, we're not going to allow them to get their heads down, and we were, convinced them that we were going to turn this thing around. And obviously, getting back Pierce, I think, was a big piece. In the starting rotation, Aiden King has really turned it up the last 3 or 4 starts for us. Liam Peterson has turned into a real number 1 in our league, and Jay Clemente solidified that closer role for us. It was one of the biggest things that catapulted us, so to speak. And when you don't have a guy at the end of the game, some of these losses become really, really difficult to deal with. But he's been able to handle that role. So a lot of things started clicking for us, and like I said, we're looking forward to getting back Colby Shelton, hopefully, and then we'll see what happens.
Sully, thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there's Kevin O'Sullivan, 9 times, 9 to Omaha.
I love how he said right there, we forced them to believe, because you kind of have to, right? Sooner or later, it gets to the point where you just, how much more can we withstand? But I'd like to ask him another one is, how did you continue to believe? I understand that, but how did you continue to believe? Because it's got to get to the point where you're going, dang, this is getting tough.
Rylan Garino is a new pitcher for South Carolina. They count 2-2 now on Bobby Bozier's got a couple of hits, including home run. Well, that takes other people in your life to keep you confident, right? 6'5", 180, 2-0 with an ERA of about 5.5. More strikeouts than innings pitched for Garino. And back-to-back outs for Garino. I do think that I use the term kind of half-jokingly, a kinder, gentler Kevin 5-10 years ago. You get off to a 1-11 start in the league. You have great expectations from a very talented team. And granted, they were dealing with injuries early on in conference play. That, you probably try to do it with the hammer instead of with hugs.
And I really think that's the part where coaches, they know their team. They know the guys, and some years you can bring the hammer, some years you can't. And this year, the way it made it sound like it hasn't been one of those hammers. It's been a little coddle here, a little coddle there, but also just enforcing the belief of moving on to the next game and not letting that one affect you. Because if you start to see that record and every time you go up, think about that, you're going to bury yourself and you're going to look up and be 2-28.
Brendan Lawson muscles it into right field. First hit of the game, the Gator first baseman. Continues the inning for Ty Evans. Series wins against Arkansas on the road at #1 Texas and Alabama. And those including Vandy's first ever sweep in Gainesville, came at a time where Florida was not playing well. Swing and a miss for Evans. They played a series against Miami before conference play started. This was early March. They took 2 out of 3. But a bunch of dudes went down that series. Pola went down. Al Jones went down. I think Curlin went down that series.
When you're talking weekend starters, middle of the order hitters with experience, it's always going to be tough to replace.
Capola was sensational last time out.
Sully was talking yesterday, and he had a little gleam in his eye when he mentioned his name of how good he was. And, I was like, hey, how many games does it take? Does it take a couple wins here before we were able to see him on the mound in Hoover? But he really wants to make it that far. That way they can get him extended a little bit. That way when regionals comes in, he's a 5-6 inning guy.
1-2 is upstairs, 2 strikes. So you don't think we would see Capola until later on in the week? Should Florida keep winning, obviously.
Right. I think you're one win here, another one, and then they go to the Friday. So that would put him right back on rest, because you're not one to bring guys coming back from injury early.
He had 11 outs in his outing against Alabama. 10 of them came via strikeout. In the right center field, that one's going to get down. On the run is Lawson. He'll round third, and they're going to wave him home. Taylor Black sends him, and he'll score without a throw. Ty Evans with an RBI double. And Lawson was flying with 2 outs, scoring all the way from first.
There's been a lot of pitching trying to get that last out for A with 2 outs, and this is another 2. And for me, like you said, right off the bat, hustling out of the box, but also Lawson from first, third. If they hit the cutoff man, then you have a shot at home. But you overthrow the cutoff man, go all the way to second base, scores easily.
So here's 6'5" Brody Donay, walk and his name. And the first pitch misses away, 1-0. You mentioned a home run from Donay in the 3rd inning was an opposite field shot, leading the SEC in opposite field home runs. As a pitcher, when you see that on the scouting report, what does that tell you about either how you can or how you shouldn't attack him?
Right, well, that's just basically he's letting that ball travel. So usually big power hitters are wanting to get those arms extended. So you're thinking, hey, I got to throw the ball in. Well, if you're going to throw the ball in to a guy like Donay who lets it travel like that, you better really get it in. Or on the outside part of the plate, right? You got to stay out of the thirds, which as a pitcher, we always want to do. We don't want to sit on the outer thirds, but even more with a guy like that. I mean, I think of a guy like A-Rod. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to go to that right center field, so you really had to tie up his hands.
Donay 8th in the SEC in slugging. And Garino behind in the count, the 3-0. To the shortstop, Kazmar. And dug out by Hollins. Nice play to help him out. But Florida tallies another. A run on 2 hits, back-to-back hits with 2 outs, and 1 more stranded. 6-1 Gators.
When businesses thrive, so do our communities.
My name is Oscar Zavaleta. I'm the principal for the Montes Group. I just knew that I wanted to be the person that made the decisions. Without Bank of America, the growth of our company would have been difficult. The way I look at it is Bank of America is one of my partners.
Unlock new possibilities for your business and what would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Contact one of our local business specialists at bankofamerica.com/local business.
The WNBA on ESPN. We can't get enough.
I'll show you the ropes, kid. Show you the ropes.
Boom, baby.
I'll show you the ropes.
All the tires you need at prices you love. eBay. Things people love.
Let's keep it juicy. Jump to the jam, boogie woogie jam slam.
World Series begins June 13th. Florida was there last year. Here's a look at the D1 projected national seeds coming into conference tournament week. Texas holding steady at number, Arkansas and Vandy on their heels. North Carolina sitting at number 4. You know, one of the metrics that is used as a reference point by the committee is KPI. And KPI has North Carolina number 3 in the country. That is, and I'm going to simplify, that's basically how others would perform with your schedule, how you would perform against others' schedule.
Okay, I didn't know if that was Kyle Peterson's index or if it was...
I think Kyle Peterson's index is a -1.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about, though, Georgia Tech slowly creeping up. Coach Danny Hall, ACC Coach of the Year in his final year. I'd like to see that.
They won the ACC regular season. The ACC got a little screwy, right? It came down to percentage points as Blake Jackson leads off the 5th inning. Florida State and Virginia had a 3-game series wiped out because of a shooting on campus that they never made those games up. And so Georgia Tech able to win it the last week. Fly ball to center field. Yost covering some ground. And so Florida up 6-1 here in the 5th inning and with an opportunity to collect.
Impact confirmed. The Slayer has been activated.
Demonic threat level increasing. Hold the line! All power of hell covering the full one.
Id Software presents Doom: The Dark Ages. Available now on Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and PC.
Rated M for mature.
The page. How much weight should the committee give when looking at an overall resume and what's been accomplished over the course of a very long season to how a team is playing right now? Because if you flip Tennessee's results,
right,
they look more like Florida.
Correct.
And where Florida is right now.
I like to look at the picture as a whole, just because the games weekend 1, weekend 2, weekend 3 count just as much as weekend 7, 8, 9, right? So to look at the whole season as a picture, and so for me, you're right. Tennessee does have a better resume than Florida does.
Hall connects and puts it under Stripling's glove for a 2-out single. But Florida's playing better baseball right now.
Right. It's
Those
definitely
other
a team
programs are as well.
Right. It's definitely a team you don't want to face right now. The way Florida is playing, that ball is absolutely smoked. I mean, you call it the hot corner, right past Stripling. Just the way Stripling's been playing, shocked to see he didn't make that play. He's made some really nice defensive plays so far today.
He's playing third. Bozier had been at third before they started shuffling people around due to injury.
Just shows you also too the diversity of their positions, right? One guy goes down and they just start moving guys everywhere and showing you, hey, just be able to play, be athletic, be able to move, and also be coachable when it comes to, hey, we'd like you to try a different position.
In between play, and who wants it? Picked up and finally finished by Lawson. No runs to hit, and one left on. 6 stranded through 5 for the struggling Gamecocks. Gators on.
Businesses are the backbone of our communities, and Bank of America is the best bank for small and medium-sized businesses. 3,700 dedicated business specialists across the nation. We're on your corner and in your corner. Because when businesses prosper, communities thrive. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Contact one of our local business specialists at bankofamerica.com/local business.
I'll show you the ropes, kid. Show you the ropes. There it is. I'll show you the ropes.
All the parts you need, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
Guard. Get it today. Protect it for life.
Well, this league is absolutely loaded this year. Player of the Year, Vahiva Aloy. Tyson Witherspoon from Oklahoma. We'll see him later this week. Hopefully, if Oklahoma got another win. Andrew Fisher's leading the league in home runs. LSU has maybe as good a 1-2 punch in the rotation as anybody. And you go on and on and on. What's hit home for you this year?
Like you said, just the amount and the quality of talent. I love watching Aloy play, but just a high-level pitching, like you mentioned, Doyle, Witherspoon, both of the Witherspoon boys, and you got Anderson, Ianson at LSU, right, and then the freshman Volantis. When you see a guy like a freshman Volantis step in and just come in and dominate the league on the mound, that's really cool.
Ace Reese came out of nowhere, excited in our nightcap tonight against Texas A&M. He's your newcomer of the year, transfer from Houston. Blake Sears 1 for 2 with a double and a run scored. Behind in the count, 0-1. Rylan Garino is on the mound for South Carolina. He retired the first 2 he faced in the 4th before getting touched for back-to-back 2-out hits. And this ball's yanked foul. Oh! Just past his reach.
And Garino's a guy that loves to throw the fastball. It's up to 92. It's not like it's electric velocity, but he loves to spot it up there. Anytime it's a breaking ball, it's more of the show breaking ball, get you a strike like he just did. Loves to finish guys off with the heater.
Guarino has one start to his name. That came against Davidson back in early March. Otherwise, exclusively out of the bullpen. Allowed one run in an inning and a third 3 days ago in the finale against LSU. That was a 7-3 LSU win. Misses with the breaking ball, 2-2. Aggies getting their in down the right field line. A&M may have more on the line than anybody else here this week at Hoover. Swing and a miss at 91.
That's the fastball we talked about. We talked about earlier in the game, right? Up in the zone, when it is only 91, you got to get above the strike zone, and that's exactly what Guarino does to finish him off.
And it brings in Yost up. Ryder Guarino gets this one into the barrel and back racing to the fence. It is gone. Another home run for the Gators. Fourth of the season for Yost, and they continue to feast on South Carolina pitching. Third of the game for the Gators.
You're right. Jumped right all over this ball. Look at up in the zone, right under the letters. That's up there. Getting on top of it. Mr. Yost drives it out there, and you're right, boy. 3 home runs for the Gators. They brought the sticks and ready to play.
And now Ashton Wilson comes up. Florida with a 7-1 lead. Remember, they swept South Carolina in a series earlier this season. Scored a season-high 22 runs in the game on May 3rd. And now on the season, not only is it 12 home runs in 4 games against South Carolina, but the Gamecocks have only connected for 2 long balls. And there's a lot of different things to point to as to how Florida was able to turn this season around. 296 team average over the last 18 SEC games.
Tom, a lot of it you're seeing right here, right? Only giving up 1 run. The first 12 games, pitching ERA was a 9.6. Last 18, 3.7. So they figured it out, right? He said Peterson started pitching like a number 1. King was dominating his second game. Then you're getting Coppola back, but you got Clemente in the back part of the bullpen that was able to stabilize that. So that helps the pitching staff. In 53 more innings, they walked less than they did in those first 12.
Ryder Guarino trying to get back to work, and this one off the handle. Guarino's a freshman. Last year, he was the New Jersey Pitcher of the Year, coming out of Cherry Hill West High School. What a turnaround for the Gators. Ran a breaking ball low and away. Ashton Wilson 0 for 2. And it goes down swinging. Third strikeout for Guarino.
You're going to throw the 3-2 breaking ball. You got to be able to have that breaking ball in the zone for the punch out. It's a beautiful pitch right there you see out in front of Yost is, or Wilson is, and gets that punch out. Tough day for him. Sometimes you have games like that where everybody seems to be locked in, getting hits, and you're the one guy in the lineup can't get one.
He's the only Gator that hasn't reached base. Nato, who's on deck, he's the only other one without a hit. Stripling is 1 for 2. And even then, Nato drew a walk and scored his first time up. 0-2. South Carolina led this game 1-0 after the first. Gators have scored in every inning since. 3-run home run from Bozer in the second. A couple of runs, including a home run from Donay in the third. Another single tally in the fourth before the Yost home run here in the fifth. Dribbles past Coffer, 2-2. Here's the 2-2 to Stripling. Sky high to the right side. Hollins backpedals into the catch, but Hayden Yost connects for the Gators' third home run of the day.
Well, the Gators just keep jumping on the fastballs up, right? You get the fastball to hit, you do some damage with it, get the extension out there, and the Gators are up 7-1.
Seeking those who aren't done making medicine until every dose is just right for everyone who needs it.
When businesses thrive, so do our communities.
My name is Oscar Zavaleta. I'm the principal for the Montes Group. I just knew that I wanted to be the person that made the decisions. Without Bank of America, the growth of our company would have been difficult. The way I look at it is Bank of America is one of my partners.
Unlock new possibilities for your business and community. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Contact one of our local business specialists at bankofamerica.com/local business.
The Kia K4 and K5 represent what comes next. The next movement for innovation. And the next movement for acceleration. The Kia K4 and K5.
Kia, movement that inspires.
I'll show you the ropes, kid. Show you the ropes.
Boom, baby.
I'll show you the ropes.
All the tires you need at prices you love. eBay, things people love.
There's nothing better than a dizzy bat race, and you're getting dizzy with the telestrator. One man down, and we got an Edwin Moses hurdle to take it to the finish line, and man down.
But the skills, though, he stayed on the feet after the hurdle. Yeah, I'm good. Give me my price.
Yeah. Give me my snow cone. Here's Bo Hollins. Couple of groundouts for Hollins, and that one sneaks by Lawson, who just overran it. Base hit for Bo Hollins with KJ Scobie coming up.
I don't know if this hits something, because you're right. It looked like he had a beat on it. Must have had a little English because he thought he was making the play. Lawson was about ready to get down on it. And then loses his foot a little bit. That's what it was. Lost the footing. Tried to barehand at the very end. Couldn't get it.
So here's KJ Scobie trying to extend a 6-game hit streak. He's got Hollins at first. Held on by Lawson upstairs. 8 home runs and 26 driven in for Scobie. And a breaking ball in for a strike, 1-1.
Captain Obvious here, but it seems like this is the time where getting the leadoff guy on, nobody out, South Carolina, if they're going to make a run, this would be the inning.
Only the second time they've had the leadoff man on in this game. Blake Jackson led off the game with a single for Pulmonary squad and came home to score a couple batters later. But remember, South Carolina had the bases loaded and nobody out in the first. Scored just 1 run. Into center field, Yost. Plenty of real estate out there. And Scobie retreats. First out of the inning with Hollins at first. Here's Jordan Carrion again. Is that Jorge was drafted by the Rangers in '95. Spent 3 seasons in the minor leagues. Carrion at Florida State missed the first 3 games of the '22 season due to injury, and then he made 76 consecutive starts at shortstop. Breaking ball low, 1-1. This year for the Gamecocks, he was coming off the bench early. Moved into the starting lineup first week of March in a game against the Citadel. Swing and a miss for Carrion. 2 down. First strikeout for Blaine Rowland. And that'll bring Evan Stone to the plate. South Carolina has only one tournament title. Think about that. They have more national championships than they do SEC tournament titles. Breaking ball in for a strike. Carolina last made the finals in 2004. They'd only made it to the final day twice. A great run last year. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
What year did they?
Cena was fantastic.
What year did they? Was that the 2000 year?
The SEC tournament?
Yeah.
2004.
Okay. I
forgot where it was for a moment. Got him on the edge and 3 pitches to dispatch Stone, and Rowland's got it rolling. Worked his way around that leadoff single.
Yeah, absolutely. Working his way around it. Continued to pound the strike zone. Back-to-back punch outs, and Rowland's rolling.
I'll show you the ropes, kid. Show you the ropes.
Boom, baby.
I'll show you the ropes.
All the tires you need at prices you love. eBay. Things people love.
I'll show you the ropes, kid. Show you the ropes.
Boom, baby.
Get it.
There it is.
All the parts you need at prices you love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
I'll show you the ropes, kid. Show you the ropes.
Boom, baby.
I'll show you the ropes.
All the tires you need at prices you love. eBay. Things people love.
I'll show you the ropes, kid. Show you the ropes.
Boom, baby.
Get it.
There it is.
All the parts you need at prices you love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
Well, the top 4 seeds all get a couple of days off before we'll see them. Vanderbilt has turned its offense on late in the year. LSU still doing LSU things. Arkansas coming off of a big series win against Tennessee. And number 1, Texas. The regular season champs with Coach of the Year, Jim Schlossnagle. It'll be Texas and Vandy out of the gates on Thursday. And then Arkansas and LSU won't take the field until Friday. Early start tomorrow for Tennessee and Bama, 9:30 local, followed by Georgia and Oklahoma. Matthew Becker is a new pitcher for South Carolina, a senior from Chapin, South Carolina. 3-3 with a 6.80.
Coming out of the pen to face some lefties. You got left, right, left in this Gator lineup. Fastball, cutter, slider, curveball change. Big time mix. A lot more off speed than fastballs, especially to left-handed hitters.
And Justin Nadeau is the leadoff, lefty. One of 2 Gators without a hit. They've got 7 runs on 9 hits. And he looks at a strike on the outer edge. Becker holds a Chapin High School record for regular season strikeouts. Back in 21, he K'd 94 in 44 innings. He was also a really good football player for Chapin.
94 in 44 innings.
Is that pretty good?
Yeah, I like that.
And maybe nobody had seen a lefty.
I mean, 88 strikeouts, obviously 2 per inning. My math skills are correct.
I was wondering why he traveled with the abacus. Now it makes sense.
I can't add the other ones. But still, knowing if you didn't strike out the side, your average was going down.
That's right. Former Eagle. And a swing and a miss from Nadeau. That brings Bobby Bowe to the plate, and that's what he did in the second.
Yeah, this is the big blast. He got it all going. Put him up 3-0 or 3-1. I keep messing that one up, Mr. Tom. Forget about that first run, but the Gators haven't looked back after that big 3-run blast.
Look at that. Pops this one out of play. He is on a power surge.
He must have been on fire, though, before the 63 homerless at-bats to have 13 before that.
Off of his foot.
Becker's a guy with basically the same. You're talking 257 average for righties. Does a lot of damage against the right-handers with the fastball slider combination.
This is the fastball. We get a slider back off this.
Yeah, I think you're going to go. Anytime you're thinking fastball away, you go slider in on that back foot. I really like it when the lefties think glove side fastball, which is fastballs into righty, and then go slider right off that same plane.
And got him. And the former Chapin Eagles got back-to-back strikeouts. My favorite Chapin Eagle, former White Sox outfielder Dwayne Wise. Made a great catch on Mark Burley's perfect game in 05. You played with D. Wise?
09.
Oh, yeah, 09. That's what I said.
No, I played in that game.
Oh.
So that's why I was like, I remember he made the catch. I think it was off of Gabe Kapler.
I'm younger than I thought.
That would make me older. But no, yeah, I think that was off Gabe Kapler's bat. Perfect game from Mark Burley.
What'd you do in the game?
don't think I think I watched it. Enjoyed the perfection that was Mark Burley.
And why is it just come into the game as a defensive substitute in the ninth inning, if I remember correctly? Pretty good move.
Yeah.
Ozzie could manage a little bit.
Ozzie knew what he was.
Brennan Lawson is 1 for 3, a single and unscored.
Remember, there was a play in that game. Burley made, obviously Burley, if you know anything about it, was a very slick fielder, could really field his position, but he made a play at first base early in the game that was like, oh my gosh, how do you make that play? And then come to find out it was could be a perfect game-saving play.
To the right side, handled by Hollins. And a 1-2-3 frame worked for the first time by a South Carolina pitcher. We got 6 in the books in Florida. Owns a 7-1 lead.
Feel the electricity of the 2025 Honda Prologue. The power. Get power with quick acceleration from Prologue's electric powertrain motor. Feel the performance with smooth and responsive driving. Get up to 308 miles of driving range per charge. Prologue's in stock now with a network of Honda dealerships available for service. Drive one home today and save. Lease a new Prologue for just $339 a month. Prologue, powerful electric performance. The power. Search your local Honda dealer today.
Touches of black. They say a lot without having to say much. They stand for elegance, refinement, and prestige. Even a little can go a long way. And though they're darker than the darkest night, they make you see everything in a new light. The Kia X-Line Nightfall Collection.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Seeking. The meticulous, uncompromising perfectionists. Seeking those who aren't done making medicine until every dose is just right. For everyone who needs it.
And you think about it, it's like our Christmas morning for college baseball, right? It's so exciting.
There is no party like a watch party, and there is no road like the road to Omaha. One of those potential bubble teams that'll bring you out of your chair.
Select special noon on Memorial Day Monday. Here the SEC teams expected to be in. Kentucky sitting there as a 3 seed, one of 3 seeds. What was that total? We had 13?
13.
Dalton Mayshore, senior from Eagle, Idaho, pinch hitting. So that means 13 of the 16 regions will have an SEC team in them. Off the cap and handled by Rowland. One down. Here's a breaks down by conference. Fun Belt sitting at 3. Southern Miss in the conversation to host, coming off of a big series win against Troy last weekend. And should they host, it would, let's think about it. The word is regional. It has always been geographically focused on who goes there. So you'd be very likely to get
an SEC,
Ole Miss or Mississippi State.
Right, I was about to say,
right off
SEC
that.
school and probably one from the state of Mississippi, which would then make the crowds at Pete Taylor Field just electric.
Like Jackson looks at a strike. 2-1. Get your rooms at the Hattiesburg Hampton Inn now.
Have you stayed at the Hattiesburg?
I have.
Okay. The way it came off, it was like you had.
Fly ball to left field, pushing Sear. And under the lights for the first half inning, and he takes it for out number 2. temperature in the mid-80s. A toasty one today. Game one of this week-long of, day one, I should say, of the week-long of baseball. And a first pitch strike into Henry Kazmar. 3 fans.
Interested to see how the fans will play the single elimination, just knowing that if you came out and your team lost, then you're going back home, or if they're just going to come out and just enjoy just a beautiful week of baseball of some of the best talent you can see.
My guess is we'll see purple and gold.
I was going to say, outside of the purple and gold,
didn't go 1 and 2.
Who seem to fill up the Hoover Met every single year.
Kazmar's now got a 7-game hit streak. How about Blaine Rowland? He's getting done. Got a 1.63 right when he came into the game. And has scattered a couple of hits over his 3 innings of work. Just low. And fouled off. Didn't know we were going to say Rowland's name before the game today, but in relief of Barlow. He's taking care of his work, and up the middle past Nato. 2-out single. Kazmar's got a 2-hit game going.
Love the pitch, rolling off the hands. The Kazmar does a great job again. Put those hands inside the ball, no matter what. Good hitters get jammed. Used to always hear guys talk about that. Love the effort from Nadeau. He's doing a nice job, even on the other dive. Even now, when he's keeping the right hand off the ground, not letting that fingernail have a chance to touch the ground.
So here's Nathan Hall. He's 1 for 2. If you joined us late, well, this story will have to wait. Yost has acreage, and that'll close the home half of the 7th. No runs a hit, 1 left on. Rowland is a survivor. It's a 7-1 Gators lead as we stretch in Hoover.
When businesses thrive, so do our communities.
My name is Oscar Zavaleta. I'm the principal for the Montes Group. I just knew that I wanted to be the person that made the decisions. Without Bank of America, the growth of our company would have been difficult. The way I look at it is Bank of America is one of my partners.
Unlock new possibilities for your business and community. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Contact one of our local business specialists at bankofamerica.com/local business.
The best new cars. Honda. Make the best pre-owned cars. Honda certified pre-owned vehicles. Get the best value with Honda certified pre-owned vehicles. Get a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty and first-year oil changes on us. Plus, every certified pre-owned Honda goes through a 182-point inspection and is reconditioned like new by factory-trained technicians with genuine parts. Search a local Honda dealer today.
Just $35 a month with our 5-year price guarantee.
Well, Florida getting it done tonight. They've brought out the big sticks, and their 3 home runs today match the most they've ever hit in an SEC tournament game in program history. Done 6 previous times. They've homered 12 times in their 4 games against South Carolina this season. Zach Russell, freshman right-hander out of Charleston, is a new pitcher.
Yeah, getting a freshman his 19th appearance, get him an opportunity, get a little postseason action. The 5.6 ERA, more strikeouts than innings, like to see that. But the hits, the walks, a little bit high, but very, very lively arm up to 95 with the fastball, cutter, slider, change, everything hard. Changeup, power changeup at 86. How about that?
Yeah, but Braylon is in the game behind the plate after they pinch hit for Crawford. Here's Ty Evans to lead off the seventh. We're talking about the opportunity for Golden Eagles of Southern Miss to host. Ole Miss won the Super there in 22 on the way to Omaha.
If a Bitcoin was the size of a quarter, all 21 million of them would fit inside a single shipping container. But to fit the dollars the Fed prints on average every day, you'd need 72 shipping containers. Each year, you'd need 26,280 containers. And to fit what they've printed in the last decade, well, you'd need a lot more than that.
Why does the ATM you need always have the highest fee? In this economy? With Cash App, you can get ATM fees waived when you direct deposit at least $300 each month. So you're good.
And what could lead to next year and years past.
Here's Brody Donay at the plate. I think it's interesting. He had a chance to catch up with Paul Maneri. And he was comparing his start at LSU to his start at South Carolina. They were barely a 500 team in 2008 when he arrived. And I think it's fair to say, given what the expectations are year in and year out in Baton Rouge, they were a program in disarray at the point.
Yeah, he had mentioned in that 2007 year, 29, 26, and 1, missed the SEC tournament, which obviously is a huge no-no in Baton Rouge. And then the next year, makes the College World Series. The next year, you bring back guys, and all of a sudden, you're the College World Series champions.
Now, it helps when you got people, I don't know, along the lines of DJ LeMahieu playing on the 2009 team. Donay is 1 for 2. So he knows what it looks like. He knows how to put it together. Did you get the feeling when you were talking about that he felt confident about what next year would look like in Columbia?
Yeah, he definitely felt confident. Now, I don't know if it's College World Series and then champion confident within 2 to 3 years, but it's a matter of, he said, the fan base loves their program. The school loves baseball. Obviously, the AD, Coach. So there's some commitment to baseball, and so he loves that. And to me, when you have that commitment to baseball, there's a lot better chance you're going to bring a winner.
I think that one of the challenges is a two-time national champion hired you and then left shortly after you got hired. So whatever the agreement was or expectations were between two guys who knew each other very well, I think that's probably a bit of a wrinkle in terms of the expectations from a coming into a new job standpoint. And as we all know, in this day and age, it's not just about selling your program when it comes to recruiting. You have to have financial backing to make it happen.
Right, and the financial backing has to turn into wins, because it's a what have you done for me lately, win now type of league. And especially when you talk about the coaches' salaries going as high as they are.
This one won't leave the infield. Kazmar handles it. There's one down.
When the salaries start to rise like that, that's where the pressure comes from winning, right? If these coaches were making, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 like it used to be, you'd get away with some non-winning seasons. I mean, you mentioned Ray Tanner. Those years in 97 to 2012 with him, 70% wins. And that was, you just knew you were in a fight whenever you were playing his teams.
Just 6-24 in the league this year.
I remember that 2000 South Carolina team, 51-5 in the regular season. Think about that. Ended up not making Omaha, the Raging Cajuns, out of Lafayette, beat them in their super.
Sharply hit to first, and well played by Hollins. Allows Evans to move to third, 2 down. The Kip Bucknight?
Yep, Kip Bucknight, Peter Bauer, Scott Barber, Killer Bees on the mound. We went there for a series, and I think we had 3 games, all 3 games. So this is in 2000, right? You know, no pitch clock, no nothing. All 3 games were played under 2 hours and 10 minutes. We pitched the best we'd ever pitched on a weekend and absolutely got swept. Run out of there in Columbia, and we got on the bus quick with 3 losses and didn't know what hit us.
Here's Hayden Yost. Say that again. None was longer than 210.
Yeah. We had an hour 50.
How do you sell enough hot dogs to make money?
I don't know if they did.
210.
Hour 50 something Balk night, and then so we lost 2-1, I think 2-0 and 1-0. They didn't use the closer Scott Barber, and he all of a sudden started on Sunday, and I think he went 8 1/3.
In for a strike to Yost. Yost has a couple of hits, a double and a home run. Two balls and a strike with a runner at third and 2 down. State and A&M tonight. To close out day number 1. And with the new format, only 2 games scheduled for Thursday. Should we run into weather issues, that would allow for some makeup time to add some games later. Caleb Jones and Cooper Parks both get loose. And there's ball 4 to Yost. 2 on with 2 out. Paul Maneri's going to the bullpen. I had a producer years ago that said it's not really a story that the team's arriving. It would be a story if they didn't arrive. And here's State in the house. 11 seed. Taking on A&M.
We saw the bus right when we drove up, right?
Yeah, that wasn't a team that wanted to be here. That was a bus driver that wanted to watch free baseball. And he will admit to it. Maneri and the Gamecocks go to the bullpen. It'll be the end of the line for Zach Russell. We'll tell you about the new pitcher after this.
Seeking those who won't rest until there's enough of the medicine they make for everyone who needs it.
Businesses are the backbone of our communities, and Bank of America is the best bank for small and medium-sized businesses. With over 3,700 dedicated business specialists across the nation, we're on your corner and in your corner. Because when businesses prosper, communities thrive. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Contact one of our local business specialists at bankofamerica.com/local business.
The best new cars. Honda. Make the best pre-owned cars. Honda certified pre-owned vehicles. Get the best value with Honda certified pre-owned vehicles. Get a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty and first-year oil changes on us. Plus, every certified pre-owned Honda goes through a 182-point inspection and is reconditioned like new by factory-trained technicians with genuine parts. Search your local Honda dealer today.
The UFL knows what gets the people going. Everything you could ever want in spring football. This is the UFL.
The United Football League. All season long on ESPN, ABC, and ESPN+.
Two games in the books as we visit our tournament headlines. 16-team single elimination format. This is more coming into the tournament, I suppose. Regular season champion Longhorns. 13 teams projected. A&M could go on a run and make things interesting.
Lots of talent when it comes to this league, right? You talk about pitchers leading the pack, Doyle, Anderson, and Witherspoon, but you got some bats in this league as well. Laviolette, Player of the Year, Wahiba Loy.
We'll see Laviolette and A&M in our nightcap as Caleb Jones, 6'5" right-hander, enters. Laviolette just got handed the A&M lineup, batting in the 2-hole behind Caden Kent. 0-1 of the 6.35 ERA. And Jones will face Ashton Wilson. Florida is 4 for 11 with 2 outs tonight. Ashton Wilson has not gotten invited to the hit party. His teammates have 10 knocks. He's got 0. Breaking ball low and away. Talking about the good old days of South